Hello and welcome to another episode of Dream Home Cooking. Today the menu is shrimp etouffee over rice with a creamy coleslaw on the side, and then I have a brioche garlic bread to serve with it, and then also a fruit cocktail cake, which is absolutely out of this world. And all these recipes are super simple, especially this one, and it is restaurant worthy. This is what you want to make for guests or family when they come over for dinner, because you'll really impress them. And it'll seem like you worked in the kitchen all day, but it is super simple. So what you want to do is start with a stick of butter. I've got it mostly melted, and then I'm going to just turn the heat up. And I would say probably the most important ingredients in this dish is right here, other than the shrimp. All these fresh veggies are going to give so much flavor to this dish. There's one large bell pepper, one large onion or two small onions, and then some green onions, about a cup of those, and then I have two celery stalks, a half cup of parsley, and some garlic that I'm going to put in just a minute. But what I want to do, this is important, so you want to saute all these fresh veggies in that stick of butter until they're nice and wilted and almost to a brown color. Because as I said, this is part of the base of this dish that gives it so much good flavor. This is a recipe that's been in my family for decades. My mom and her sweet sisters came up with it. And so I thought I would do that today, because this whole show I'm dedicating to my precious mama, who is about to retire for almost 2 decades. She has been decorating our model homes and our clubhouses, and she is so talented and so loved and does such a phenomenal job. We're going to miss her, but she definitely deserves it. But this is her and her sister's recipe. And a little secret, we've got some cream of shrimp soup that will go in here. But I'm going to let this simmer or saute for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll show y'all the next step. Okay, so that has been sauteing for about 12 minutes. You can see they're nice and wilted. It smells delicious, and I'm getting ready to make it smell even better. This is 3 cloves of fresh garlic that I minced. That's a must for this dish. And I'm just gonna stir it until it's incorporated in there, and then I'm going to add a little bit of a thickening agent. This is 2 tablespoons of flour, and I'm just going to sprinkle it in there. When it hits that butter, it helps to thicken it a little bit. This is a dish that you can also put this over grits. If you want to make grits and have shrimp and grits, you could put it over pasta, but my favorite way is over rice, because I was born and raised in Louisiana. That's how we all ate it, but there are variations that you can do. Okay, so I've got that flour nice and incorporated. And then now I'm going to add some seasonings, and this is 1 teaspoon each of salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and Cajun seasoning. So when you're making a dish like this, it's important after it simmers, for about 30 minutes or so, you want to go and taste it and see if it needs maybe a tad more salt or Cajun seasoning. You want to do it to your liking. So this is sort of just a modest amount for me. I'll probably go back and add some more of each thing. Okay, so got those added in there. Now I'm going to add 2 cans of cream of shrimp soup. And this is kind of cheating, but it just gives it, anything with Campbell's soup just ups the flavor, and it's easy. And this is one of those things that I do love to make for guests or family when we have functions, because it is easy and I can make it and it's simmering on the stove and everything's done when everybody gets here, so I can visit. All right, so 2 cans of that. And I like to use a butter knife so I can make sure that I get all of that out of there. Okay, so we got that. Then I've got an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. There are, just like a lot of Cajun dishes, there are so many variations of this, the shrimp etouffee, jambalaya, all sorts of things. But everybody knows, and if you've ever been to Louisiana, it is delicious food, but boy, is it rich. Okay, so now I got that tomato sauce stirred in there. Then I'm going to add it's actually a soup it's a soup can, I say in my recipe, of water, which is actually 10.5 ounces, so that's what that was. Okay, and then we've got a half a cup of whole milk. This just adds a little bit of creaminess to it. And for this reason, having milk in it, you want to make sure that as you're simmering it, you want it to be on a good low temp because you don't want that milk to scald. So now that is everything but the shrimp. And so what happens is I'm going to stir this. I'm going to put the lid on it. I'm going to let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes just for the flavors to incorporate. Then I'll go back in and add the shrimp and let them cook about 30 minutes. You don't want to put the shrimp in now because they'll be overcooked and tough and rubbery, and that's never good. So you can actually simmer this for longer if you want. If you've got things to do, you can let it simmer even an hour if you need to, and then add the shrimp. Okay, so that is that. So we're going to put a lid on this, let it simmer, and when we come back, I'm going to show y'all how I make this delicious fruit cocktail cake.
Hey guys, come on in.
Hey Troy.
Yeah, let me show you around.
Wow.
You know, as the Acme Brick spokesperson, I get paid in brick. All the brick I want. Solid. What? Too much? To get Acme Brick quality, look for the Acme name. And here's the guest room. Hope you like a firm mattress.
In choosing a contractor in today's market, finding someone that is going to take care of you and make sure that you're happy with their product, with the quality, it's not an easy task today. The most important thing to me is doing what you say you're going to do, taking care of the customer, installing a product that is superior. My motto is, call the lady with a team you can trust, and I feel confident that we are a team that you can trust.
Since 1983, individuals and businesses in Alabama have relied on Wolf, Jones, Wolf, Hancock, Daniel & South for their legal representation. Our experienced attorneys offer high-quality legal counsel in commercial law, real estate, and personal injury litigation. So if you need an attorney, hire the best attorney you can. Call the experienced North Alabama attorneys at Wolf, Jones, Wolf, Hancock, Daniel & South to arrange your initial consultation, because we're dedicated to setting the standard for legal services.
When you select Wolde Flooring's hardwood, you don't just enhance your home, you transform it. With hundreds of beautiful, durable, hand-selected varieties that come with up to a 50-year warranty, you can count on unsurpassed beauty and proven durability that's guaranteed to stand the test of time. When you want the best flooring for your home, come to Wolde Flooring in Madison. WoldeFlooring.com, 256-325-8453.
Okay, we're back and the shrimp etouffee is simmering, and now I want to show y'all how I make this fruit cocktail cake. It is so good, and I tell you this, I would say it's maybe if you had the top 10 Southern desserts, this would probably be one of them. It's just an old staple, but it's so good. All right, so I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Then I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, not powder, baking soda. And then I'm just going to use a fork just to get it incorporated in there. I'm going to go ahead and do this so I don't forget. Okay, so I'll just set that aside. And then I have a half a stick of butter in this bowl. And then I'm going to add, well, I might mix it up just a tad. There we go. I let it soften for a couple of hours, and that's definitely recommended. Okay, and then you're going to add 2 eggs to that. This is a super simple recipe. It does seem to have, a little, well, not a little, a lot of ingredients for the icing, but it comes together real fast, and it's worth it because it is so good. All right, so I'm just going to mix those eggs in with the butter. Then I'm going to start adding sugar a little bit at a time. And that's 1.5 cups of white sugar. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. This is one of those cakes that's nice to make if you if you have a stand-up mixer, you don't have to sit here and do this, but that thing is so heavy. To me, it's a chore to get it out, but I do love it when I get it out and use it. All right, I'm gonna add the rest of that sugar. Okay, and then I'm gonna gradually add the flour. Okay. And with this cake, if you are in my category like me and not a very good baker, dessert maker, you can do this. It's simple. And I love this. I love a sheet pan cake because I don't have to worry about layers being uneven and drooping and all that fun stuff. Now, my sweet daughter, Christina, she can make a cake look like a magazine cover. She can do the layers and the pretty icing and all that. She did not get that from me. I think she got that from my mama and her grandmother, her other grandmother, Mike's mom. Okay, so I'm gonna add the rest of that flour, and it is gonna feel, you know, like a stiff dough, and that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be, because once you dump in this can of fruit cocktail, it'll loosen up. Okay, so now I'm gonna add the fruit cocktail. This is just your straight up can of fruit cocktail you get at the grocery store. Don't drain it, because that juice in there is gonna help add to the moistness and deliciousness of this cake. And I try not to mix this too long, because you don't want these little mixers to just totally chop up the fruit to where you can't see it. You want those nice little bits in there. Okay, so now I am going to take these off, get whatever I can off of there. I hate to lose any good ingredients. Oh, it smells delicious. Okay, so I've got this 13 by 9 by 2 baking pan. I went ahead and sprayed it with the cooking spray with flour in it. That stuff is gold. I love that stuff. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take a spatula and pour it into the prepared pan. Okay. This cake also freezes very, very well. And then you just, when you're ready to serve it, you know, take it out the night before and let it thaw on the counter overnight. Okay, so we got that in there. I'm trying to get that last piece of fruit off of there. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take it and kind of move it around, make sure that the cake is in there evenly. Tap it on the counter a little bit. Then I've got a ½ cup of brown sugar here. So now I'm gonna take this brown sugar with my hands and I'm just gonna sprinkle the top of it as evenly as I can. Okay. So just, it doesn't have to be perfect by any means, but just make sure you've got good coverage of brown sugar on the entire cake. And just do that. Okay, so now I'm gonna pop this in the oven at 350 for 35 to 40 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then I'm gonna show y'all how you make the icing. Okay, so I cleaned up a little bit. I've got the cake in the oven. It'll bake about 35 to 40 minutes, and then now I'm gonna make the icing in whole. This stuff is delicious. So you start with a stick of butter, and you wanna just melt it on real low heat. And then to that, I'm gonna add these ingredients. I have a ½ cup of sugar. I'm sorry, it's 3/4 cup of sugar. And then I've got a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna go ahead and stir that together. And then to that, I'm gonna add some evaporated milk. And it's just a ½ cup of evaporated milk. Not condensed, but evaporated. This icing would be really, really sweet if you use condensed. Okay, so I'm gonna stir that. And then I am gonna bring this to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, I'm gonna let it boil, a soft boil, not a rolling boil, because we don't wanna scald that evaporated milk. But once it comes to a boil, set your timer for 2 minutes. And then I'll turn it off the heat, and when that cake comes out, while it's still super warm right out of the oven, I'm gonna pour this icing all over that cake, and it's amazing. And this cake is just an FYI, if you're bringing it to a function or something, it's always better the next day. I think everything just kind of oozes down into that cake, and it's just absolutely amazing. I remember the first time I made this for my kids, they're like, fruit cocktail and a cake? We don't want to eat that. Well, it's one of their favorite cakes Mama makes. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that come to a boil and then set the timer for 2 minutes. All right, so I let this come to a boil, and then of course it boiled for 2 minutes, and I went ahead and waited for the cake to finish cooking so I can show y'all all in one shot. But I've got the heat turned off, and now the last ingredients I'm gonna add is a cup of chopped pecans. And I think that was actually a little more than a cup. I'm not gonna put all of them in there. And then a half a cup to a cup of coconut. I like coconut, but not, you know, a ton of it, but a little is good. Or you can omit it altogether. So you just wanna stir those two things into this butter mixture. And then while the cake is warm, I'm gonna pour it over the entire cake. And you can see the little brown sugar bits just kind of baked into the cake. And that's what's so good when you bite into this cake with this icing and those brown sugar bits on the top and the little pieces of fruit inside. Okay, so now I'm ready to just pour it. And I'm just gonna go one way and then the other and just try to get it as even as you can. And then I'm gonna take this spoon and just kind of scoot some icing to the spots I feel like maybe I missed. So you want to let it cool completely before you serve it. And as I said before, the next day is actually even better. It's delicious. Okay, so that's the fruit cocktail cake. So now we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, I'm gonna show y'all how I do the creamy coleslaw and the brioche garlic toast.
My father started this business in 1977. The people that work for us is part of what sets us apart. All of our employees have experience. All of our plumbers have been with us for 10 years or greater. Our motto at Dean & Son is quality and service. We're going to do quality work. We don't leave people hanging. We're there when we're supposed to be. We're done when we're supposed to be. Living up to what you sell and service them after they pay you, that's where your integrity in the plumbing business comes.
Dean & Son Plumbing Company. Call today at 518-9780.
You know, years ago, we researched different cabinet companies. Wellborn was the cabinet company that we decided to go with. Wellborn has a lot of your custom style building like we did in the local cabinet shops years ago. You just can't go wrong with a product like that with Wellborn. On top of that, Wellborn has researchers that are out in the market every day. Their job is to see what's current in the market, what's selling, and what their dealers need to be showing in their showroom. So come out, let me help you design your kitchen with Wellborn products.
Choosing an appliance can be complicated these days. That's why at Bob Wallace Appliance, we start by asking questions like an occasional cook or a serious chef, something just for you or an army, once a week or once a day. You see, it's not just what we know about appliances, it's what we know about you. Bob Wallace Appliance, locally owned and operated for more than 35 years. Online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Hey guys, I wanted to let y'all know about a year ago, me and Bruce Stone started a new company called Stonewood Homes. And Stonewood is a little different business plan than Woodland Homes because Stonewood is a scattered lot home builder, which means if you have a lot and you're looking for a builder, Stonewood is the answer. So if you own a home site or you're looking at building a custom home, give us a call at 830-9000 and let's start building.
Okay, we're back and the cake is done. It smells delicious and the etouffee is just simmering with the shrimp in it. So now the last two things I want to show y'all how to make is this creamy coleslaw, which goes great with the shrimp etouffee. A green salad does too, but sometimes I like to mix it up and do the slaw. So you want to start with 2/3 cup of mayonnaise and 1/4 cup of sour cream. I like adding the sour cream to it because it kind of cuts that, you know, that just strong, just straight up mayo taste. Okay, and then in this little cup, I have a teaspoon of celery seeds and a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. So I'm gonna take a whisk and I'm just gonna start whisking all that together. And then this is 2.5 tablespoons of sugar. It just gives it a nice little bit of sweetness. So you just want to mix that well. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. That gives it that nice tart tanginess. And to me, I always like a slaw the next day better because everything has time to marry in the fridge and marinate all together. But this is super, super simple. And you can use this slaw for anything. Sometimes I make this, and that's what we use when we do barbecue pork on sandwiches. You put this slaw on here. It's also good on a hot dog, chili dog. It's delicious. Okay, so all that's mixed together, and then the last thing you do is just take a 16-ounce bag of slaw. You can cut the cabbage yourself and carrots and all that, but to me, this is way easier. So then you want to get a spoon of some sort and then just stir together the slaw and the dressing. Okay, so that's done. So this will go in the fridge for at least a couple of hours before I serve it. All right, so I'm just gonna set this off to the side, make some room for y'all to see. This is another really simple garlic bread recipe, but I am in this phase right now with brioche bread. I love the buns. These are little, almost like little hot dog buns. They were so cute, so they're just little. So I'm just gonna put them on a pan. There's not a lot of us today, so I'm just gonna do 3 of these rolls. But for your mixture, I have a half a stick of butter that's at room temperature. And then in the bowl, I have 3 cloves of garlic, along with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley chopped. And really that's just to kind of give it a pretty color. I think the green color in it is really pretty. This is just almost like a little garlic buttery paste. Super, super simple, but really delicious. And any kind of garlic bread, garlic toast goes great with this shrimp etouffee. So I'm just using a fork to get that mixed up, and then I'll spread it on the bread pieces. Okay, I think that's good enough. So I'm just gonna spread a generous amount on each piece of bread, and then it bakes at 400 for about 7 to 8 minutes. You want to watch it. Some people like their bread really toasty and some not so much. So just to whatever your liking is. So I'm going to, while I am putting this on the bread, I want to tell y'all about our community of the week. It's Abbington, the retreat at Abbington out in the Monrovia area. And it is one of our carefree communities. It is absolutely wonderful out there. No yard maintenance, no anything. You just enjoy your home, enjoy your life, and everybody else does everything else for you. And ironically, that is the last clubhouse that my sweet mama is working real hard right now decorating. This week, the clubhouse is finally ready out there, and so she will be finishing that up this week. But I tell you, I said earlier, my mama is about to retire. She's been doing interior decorating for Woodland Homes for almost 20 years, and she has done some amazing things, and she's really built a name for herself in Huntsville. But don't call her, because she is now fully retired. We've been begging her not to retire for so many years, and finally it's like enough is enough, you guys. She's ready to enjoy time with my dad, and she certainly deserves it. But we will forever be grateful to her for all she, and I'm going to get emotional, for all she's done for Woodland Homes, and she's just the best. So y'all go out and see her last work of art. It's going to be amazing. And then on a positive note, we've got a wonderful girl. She's a friend of mine. Her name is Amy, and she is going to be stepping into mom's role, and she's already just doing some great things. And so we're looking forward to working with Amy as well. I know she's going to do an amazing job. So I'm going to get these in the oven and then clean this up. And when we come back, I'm going to show y'all how I plate the food up. I'm missing my hubby today. He is in a meeting that is lasting way over time, so he's not going to make it. But I'll clean this up and then show y'all how I plate this delicious etouffee. Okay, so I got everything cleaned up, got the bread out of the oven. This feels weird. I miss my sidekick. It's only been a handful of shows in the last probably 15 years that Mike's not here, but I know he's got to do his thing. So I want to show y'all how I plate this etouffee up. Of course, I've got the cake I made, and it smells delicious. I've got the slaw. I put them in the cute little cups. And then the garlic bread, the brioche garlic bread, just smells divine. So here's how I like to do this, and this is how they do it in Louisiana at a lot of the restaurants. So I took a cooking spray and sprayed this little dish, and then I'm just gonna pack some rice in there. It just makes a pretty presentation. I mean, sometimes if it's just me and Mike, I'll just dump the rice in there and ladle the etouffee and call it a day. But y'all are special, so I wanna show y'all how I do this. Okay, so I just take it and turn the rice out into the bowl, and see, it just comes out nice and uniform. Then you take your etouffee, kind of ladle it around the rice. I just think it's a really pretty dish as it is. And I messed up a little bit. I got some on the sides, but you can take a paper towel and wipe it if you want it to just be very, very pretty. And then I like to take some green onions and just do a little sprinkle on the top just to give it a little color. And there you go. So that is the shrimp etouffee. I hope you guys will try this. It is absolutely delicious. And I hope y'all will go out to the retreat at Abbington and visit the brand new clubhouse. The model's been up and running out there for a while. But also, one other thing I wanted to say, we have some very good friends, Gina and Mike, who own Bassett Furniture in Huntsville. And they were so wonderful and gracious working with us while we waited for the clubhouse to be ready and keeping our furniture. But that's another place that if you want some good looking stuff, Bassett in Huntsville is excellent. The customer service is excellent. And that's what Mama decorated this clubhouse with, is all Bassett furniture and lamps and knickknacks, and it's just gonna be beautiful. So y'all wanna see that. So we are gonna wrap this up, and as always, I wanna give a huge shout out to our wonderful sponsors. This show could not be possible without them, and we appreciate them, and they are all on our website. They all do excellent work for anything to do with pertaining to the home, building the home. And for my recipes, you can find them on woodlandhomes.com, as well as our Dream Home Cooking Facebook page. I look forward to having my hubby back with me next week for the show. And a big old shout out to you, Mama. I love you. I can't.